Senior Managing Director with Accenture. This is my 30th year with Accenture, and I'm now based out of our Houston office. It gives me immense pleasure, and I know some of the seats are going to get filled. We have 160 registered guests that are going to join us today for this fantastic day that we have planned together with the AABDC. And it couldn't be a better location. So pleased that we have you in our Manhattan West offices. If you all turn around, look at the view, right? And as I was coming up in the elevator to the 61st floor, the ladies next to me said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to the 61st floor." She said, "You see these numbers in the elevators? They'll stop at each one and people will get off." And I'm like, okay. So I'm just listening to her, and she describes what a beautiful view you're going to have. And she describes all of this to me. Obviously, she was going to a different floor, and I listened to all of these great things. And then I just pulled up my phone, and my wallpaper is actually this view, because the last time I came, I took that's my wallpaper. I showed it to her. I said, "Hey, speaking about views, look at this." And she goes, "Oh, you've been here. This is the west side." I'm like, "Yeah, awesome." So this is, some interesting facts. We have 9 floors in this location. 9 floors, and this is our largest office for Accenture. And little known facts about this place, as you will see, there is a completely sustainable, model of an office. So you will not see plastic single disposable cups, although for you guys especially we had some this morning. But for our people, as you walk around, you look at snacks that are healthy. You look at how people walk, and it's been designed with people walking, meeting each other in open spaces, as well as a good balance of closed spaces, right? Now, the most important thing that I like to tell people, this entire building has been architected by the same person or the company that did the Burj Khalifa. So Adrian Smith and his gang at his architectural firms designed the same building. And so we're very, very proud and extremely happy to be here, and happy to host you guys. Last but not the least, we don't have any drills or safety moments planned for today. So if it does happen, it's real. So we will then assemble out there at the front, but we obviously do not expect any of that to happen. So with that, let me hand over to Alpa, who's going to kick off the session. And please keep it engaging. We have a fantastic day, and she'll walk you through it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manish. And I never knew some of these tidbits about the 9 floors, who constructed it. So thank you so much for giving us some amazing views. And I'm really, really excited to kick it off. So first of all, good morning. Thank you so much for all coming to our 9th annual American Business Roundtable. My name is Alpa Inamdar, and I will be your host today. So you will get to hear me pretty much throughout the day. So get ready, have lots of coffee and water, because it's going to be a fantastic day. So a little bit about me. I have been in the industry for 27 years. I started in manufacturing, and I was in aero defense for a little while, and then in engineering, and then last 17 years in financial industry, starting with Societe Generale, Goldman Sachs, Bank of New York Mellon, and AIG. Currently at AIG, I really look at strategic initiatives such as the IPO, a lot of divestitures, and really focusing on our investment target operating model. So I'm really excited to be part of this amazing event. Today the topic is DEI is good for America's future. So let me give you a little bit of context. First of all, I would like to give you the origin story of AABR. But before we really do that, I think I want to talk a little bit about the American Business Development Center that was founded in 1994 by John Wayne, who's a really good friend of mine and a mentor, so thank you, John. And the AABDC's goal was really, it's a nonprofit organization that really assists Asian American businesses strengthening their capacity to compete in the Main Street market, how to expand their business opportunities, and really promote recognition of Asian American businesses through general economy. This was something that was sort of all for John, that he actually saw the vision and really made it happen. Over the last 2 decades, AABDC has the signature annual black tie event known as the Outstanding 50 Asian American Business Award Gala. It really honors, has more than honored 1,000 elite Asian American entrepreneurs and corporate executives around the US. I was one of those fortunate to be part of that recipient a couple of years ago, so thank you for the AABDC to give me that recognition. And now that we know a little bit about AABDC, I want to talk about the Asian American Roundtable. It began as mainly an idea to create a forum where highly successful and high potential Asian American professionals could really collaborate, share their ideas, and really get a counsel on their business leadership ideas. It was much more based on the economic interest. And as the roundtable gained popularity, it quickly diversified to represent not only the Asian business community, but a large, diverse business community, which we are so proud of. So with each of these roundtables we do, we really have the organizer built on the outcomes of the previous ones, where we have lessons learned, and really look at the priorities that is expressed by the audiences. So we really do come up with these topics, what is relevant to the audiences and how we can bring it forth. However, this year, the issue that has been top of the mind is the DEI leaders and the practitioners are in this anticipation of the aftermath of last year's Supreme Court ruling on affirmative action related to higher education. AABDC and their partners believe that it's more imperative than ever for the new majority and their corporate allies to stand together and speak against going back on the progress we made in DEI toward economic and racial equity. We will also continue the conversation with ERG effectiveness created by popular demand for the past 2 Asian American Business Roundtable audiences, how we continue to highlight, value those best practices through ERGs, and really build an allyship and solutions for the multicultural employee groups. There are a lot of people today in the audience who either are part of those ERGs, and we're really hoping that they can help us drive this mission forward. So with that, today you will hear from the business leaders from some of the biggest brands, including Accenture, as you just heard from Manish, Bank of America, Bloomberg, Boston Consulting Group, IBM, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, PwC, TD, and many others. We are really excited about the program we have today. I do want to make sure that please work with the social media. We do have a specific information on how you can tag AABDC using our handles and hashtags to see that you'll see it on the screen. I also want to do a special shout out to our sponsors, Accenture, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley. To start our journey today, we have an inspiring opening keynote speaker, a really good friend, and her last name Friend, Yolanda. And Yolanda is an inclusion and diversity lead for Accenture North America. She's responsible for setting the strategic direction for Accenture's inclusion and diversity agenda in the US and Canada. She started her career in Accenture in 2006, and she was only like 10 when she started, and 8, okay. And now she's a member of Accenture's North America leadership team. She also currently serves on the board of directors for the Washington Ballet. I am so honored to invite you to the stage, so I'll give it to Yolanda.
Thank you all. It's great to be here. Thank you for the warm introduction. It's very kind. I am Yolanda Friend, and I am friendly, so it all works together. But I do lead inclusion and diversity for Accenture's North America market. And to Manny's point, you just can't, it's a win-win to be here in this office. I mean, this view, the energy, it's just palpable. And so I'm glad you're all here to experience it. Many thanks to John and of course AABDC for your partnership, and to everyone who's here to talk about how DEI is good for us today and tomorrow. Accenture, we have a very long-standing commitment to diversity. We started our first DEI strategy back in 1995 and honestly never looked back. Our I&D agenda is a business imperative for our North America CEO as well as our entire North America leadership team. And we know that creating a sense of belonging is going to allow us to attract and retain diverse teams, and our business ultimately thrives. And that's what we all want. Is that right? Perfect. I want my legacy here to be about creating environments where people can thrive and they have opportunities to showcase their skills, embrace who they are, and really not ever think about erasing bits and pieces of themselves in the process. And that's important, and it's hard to do. In my younger years, I was pretty frequently the only African American amongst my friends. And I found that to be challenging because I am more naturally introverted. And so sometimes it was hard to find my place. And I didn't often see people who looked like me making decisions and leading. My college experience really changed that. I went to Florida A&M, which is a historically Black college and university in Tallahassee, Florida. And it was empowering for me to see my heritage constantly applauded. It makes a big difference to see people who look like you in leadership positions. And it gave me a stronger sense of self-worth and security. I learned many things on that path to earning my MBA, but I think the most important thing I learned was how to show up in this world, how to have confidence in a place that doesn't always automatically value what I bring to the table. And so now I am doing my best. I've told some of you here, I'm a mom and a stepmom of 4. So this is actually a little bit of a reprieve from my daily life, public speaking. I talk with my kids all the time about doing, affirmations and feeling confident in this world. And their favorite affirmation is every room gets better when I walk in, because I want them to know that they belong in all places and all spaces. But again, we all know that's not easy. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to belonging. Some of it's about our lived experiences and how we grew up and how we feel about ourselves. And then the other part of that is really shaped by our environment. And so that means when I look at my job as an I&D leader, it's my responsibility to create opportunities where people can showcase their skills, people can thrive, people can advance, and I want to enable other people to do the same. And so a friend of mine always says, talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. So this means we must consider all qualified talent at every stage of the talent lifecycle process. When we hire people, when we're staffing up our teams, when we're making decisions about promoting. And it may seem really out of reach to have an impact even on just one person. But I can attest in my own life that it really does only take one person. It created a domino effect of lasting impact on my family. So I'd like to just share a story about my dad and leave you with that. So my dad grew up in a pretty challenging situation. When he was 2, he and his twin brother were sent to live with his grandmother. And they didn't have much in terms of financial resources, but he knew he wanted to go to college, and he knew he needed to go to college. And so in high school, my dad washed dishes. He washed them with the folks at a restaurant called Hot Shops. And they all knew how much he wanted to go to college. And they knew that he was working hard. They saw him balancing his work commitments with his school. And there's one person at that restaurant who really took notice of him and said, he did something behind the scenes for my dad that paid dividends immensely in the future. He advocated for this smart kid who wanted to be an engineer. And as it turns out, Hot Shops is owned by a family you may have heard of, the Marriott family. And the advocacy that my dad received, it ultimately landed him a scholarship to Howard, awarded by Mr. Marriott Sr. And so this story really taught me 2 lessons. The first one is preparation combined with advocacy is truly life-changing. Magic happens when preparation meets someone who can advocate for you in a place or space where you aren't, at least not yet. And similarly, we have to ask ourselves, how are we preparing ourselves and our teams to serve as advocates and allies for other people? Second, the other lesson is it's really critical to maintain a growth mindset, especially during these times of uncertainty, like we're in now. Like my dad, we all have the power to change the narrative, and we never let anyone's viewpoint of how they see us change the way we see ourselves. So I lean on these lessons day in and day out in my personal life, which I need a lot, 4 kids, and my professional life. And as we all look to the future, we have to remain vigilant and intentional about our inclusion and diversity efforts. We stand on the shoulders of many before us, like my dad, who made incredible strides and incredible sacrifices to change the narrative and create the environment that we have today. So thank you all again for being here. I appreciate, of course, John and the entire AABDC team. I've got friends, Accenture family here in the room, so thank you, Ahita, Manny, Sarah, and other friends who are here. It's really nice to reconnect. And anyone who wants to chat more later, please let's make a one-on-one connection. That's why I'm here. I think it's going to be a great, rich conversation today, and I'm really looking forward to this enriching and powerful discussions. So thank you all.